The Earth is constant change. Everywhere it is being worn away by a process called erosion. One of the most powerful forces wearing down the Earth is the sea. The waves tear into the land using pebbles and rocks as grinding tools. Softer rocks and gravels wear more quickly, leaving hard layers as headlands or promontories. Ice is a powerful eroding agent. Water seeping into cracks expands with immense power as it freezes, breaking and crumbling the rock faces. In high mountains, snow collects and forms ice which moves down the valleys as glaciers. The weight of the moving ice wears the valley floor and carries away the loose particles to the lower ground where the melting ice deposits them. Plants, too, especially the small lichens and mosses which cling to most rock surfaces, crumble and dissolve the rocks. Even the roots of larger bushes and trees spread into the crevices in search of moisture and, by their growth and expansion, open up cracks, allowing water to penetrate and assist the process of erosion. The wind carries particles of sand, which, by continuous blasting against the rock face, slowly wears it away. Softer rocks are worn away more quickly than hard ones, so that in desert regions we often see strange shapes carved out by the eroding sand. As a result of all this erosion, below every cliff face there are steep slopes covered with broken rock called scree. In deserts, the sand is removed by the wind, but when there is rain, water carries away the eroded particles of rock, first by the trickles of water which develop into small streams, then into larger streams, and finally into the great rivers which carry the suspended material to the sea. Here are comparatively young mountains. The jagged and irregular shape shows that air, rain and ice have not smoothed off their outline. Over a long period of time, many millions of years, the rough shape of a mountain range becomes rounded off. These are called mature mountains. Finally, the erosion process is complete, and the mountains are almost worn away. They are then said to be in old age. Only the minerals and rocks beneath tell us where they once stood. If this had gone on everywhere throughout the world's history, all the land would by now be under a shallow layer of water. Obviously, processes have been at work which have raised up the land again in some places, giving us our present distribution of continents and oceans. Here is a diagram representing a mountain mass. The fluid center of the Earth gives way until a point of balance is reached. As the mountains are eroded, the balance is disturbed so that there is a slow upward movement. Eventually, the mountain is removed and a static position achieved. Since forces within the Earth are constantly acting on the crust, it sometimes gives way at points of weakness. Along the lines of weakness, cracks appear, and the land slips and moves to relieve the pressure. Any place where two sections of land have moved in relation to one another is called a fault. Here you can see sections of cliff where faulting has taken place. Any such movement of the Earth's crust often causes an earthquake. This diagram shows in an exaggerated form the kind of movement which takes place. In mountainous regions, earthquakes may cause tremendous landslides which speed up the processes of erosion. The actual amount of movement is usually small, but its effect on people's lives may be catastrophic. The fast-moving waters of a river enable it to carry away particles of rock and soil. The slowing down of the current as it reaches the sea causes these particles to fall to the seabed. The larger, heavier particles fall first, but the fine silt may be carried out a long way. As the different layers of rock in the mountains are exposed and eroded, so the sediments in the sea vary and change in quality and colour. In addition, the shells of millions of sea creatures may be added in vast layers. The weight on top and the heat from below cause these layers to bind into hard sedimentary rocks, which, owing to shrinking and pressures from inside the earth, fold themselves into great mountain ranges where once there were shallow seas. Thus we may find fossils of sea animals in high mountain places. This bending of the Earth's crust is called folding and may occur upwards or downwards. Like most rock changes, this is a slow process, taking many millions of years. These pictures, taken in the western Cordilleras of America, show folding in the exposed cliff faces. In a few places, where the Earth's crust is weak, the molten rock or magma breaks out at the surface as a volcanic eruption. Successive layers of ashes and lava are thrown up, building the familiar cone-shaped mountain called a volcano. Sometimes the lava forces its way out through weak places in the sides of the cone. Fortunately, many of the world's volcanoes have become dormant or extinct. Thus, we see the Earth is in a constant process of change. A change so slow that little can be seen in man's lifetime. Little has been seen even throughout the existence of the human race, but the story can be read clearly in the rocks. It tells us of the oldest igneous or fire-formed rocks which were worn away and became sedimentary rocks. These in turn were raised up and are now themselves being worn away. This then is the story of our changing Earth, a story